Yeah.
Is this close enough?
So what can you tell us about Wyatt's journey this season?
His journey, we're like 7 episodes in, and we do get to find out a lot more about him. You know, the first few episodes we learn a little bit about Lucy and even Rufus a little bit. Not a whole lot about Wyatt. I think it's interesting because it kind of keeps him mysterious in a way, but we do learn a lot more about him. Really, one of the episodes that is big for Wyatt is the Alamo episode. We learn a lot about his past, a lot about his vulnerabilities, and kind of how that shaped him as a soldier and just as a man. I think he's a big question mark in my head because he's the guy that is the most mission-oriented, that is, you would think would carry out the mission to no end. You know, he'll do anything to carry the mission out. At the same time, I sort of feel like he's the one that wants to change things the most with his wife. And I sort of feel like, as much as he's a good soldier, that if he had an opportunity to see his wife just one more time, that he would drop it all. And that's just me talking. That's not because of any script I've gotten or anything they've told me. But that's how I kind of see him. You know, he's a bit unpredictable in that way, I think. So I believe he's an interesting character when he's the one that sort of has to hold up the pillar. You know, when like shit hits the fan, he's the one that's got to be the strong one, but at the same time, like he might be the weakest one. So we're gonna find out.
We've seen some major changes for Lucy with the time traveling. She's come back, her sister's gone. Are we going to see any of that for Wyatt?
You know, Lucy losing her sister is not something through episode 7 or 8. It's not something we're doing every episode. It's not like that's not the cliffhanger every time that who's gone next. I think that was put there, and maybe this is more of a writer question, but I think that was put there to say like, hey, this is not safe. At any time, anything could happen. But you know, our cliffhangers are more in the story, and that it's not, you know, wondering who's going to be disappearing this time. But it keeps the stakes high, right? I mean, because as soon as it doesn't matter like what happens during the mission, just knowing that we're doing this mission by itself, the stakes are already high because of what could happen. So yeah. But there's gonna be some changes, and you'll see some little things, and some stuff that I know that we haven't shot yet that I find really interesting is, you know, what does stay constant and how can they keep those constant, and you know, I digress, but
I think the fact that Wyatt was willing to change history, for example, in the Abraham Lincoln episode, at a time when Rufus was also supporting that position, and he comes back, Rufus does, and he says, I don't want to record, keep wanting more. Do you think there's a bond that's growing between Rufus and Wyatt, perhaps early on, and was explained by his willingness to change history?
I think that you're going to see bonds being formed as a team and also individually with each other. What they've done such a great job is really bringing 3 unique perspectives to the table. I think that's great because I feel like us as an audience will watch it and you could probably relate to at least one of them in some way. Whether it's like you feel the same way that Rufus feels, or you feel the same way that Wyatt feels, or you would do what Wyatt's going to do, or you know whatever, you know, you would do what Lucy's doing. I feel like it's unique in that way. It's kind of cool that the audience really is the 4th member of the time team. It's pretty cool because really it's being told from these 3 perspectives and the audience perspective. But you're going to see those ups and downs play out around them and also within those 3, and how they get along and how they don't get along. And there are bonds that are formed and there are bonds that are broken, and we're only in like 7 episodes.
In your opinion, like not something that was communicated by the writers, do you feel like the sexual tensions between you and like maybe a Mulder Scully kind of thing? She's like the believer and he's like the mission guy.
I think so. I mean, you know, in the pilot, I think that those moments were added very much on purpose. Right. You know, he's kind of looking at her, and but then we find out he was looking at her purely through mission-oriented eyes. You know, but yeah, I think that's there. You know, what I like about it is it's not anything that's in your face. And again, to repeat myself, we're only like 8 episodes in, but so it's nothing obvious yet. But I like that it's not fast. That it's not like, oh, just because you're a girl and I'm a guy, we're gonna make love in the time machine, which I'm not ruling out. Because that
Plans have been seeded.
yeah, but it could happen. But it's a really small time machine, so, and it might be awkward for Rufus, but whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I mean, I think that can happen. I think also, but we are seeing each other's vulnerabilities, characters' vulnerabilities, and you can't help but to bond with people when their vulnerable moments are exposed. And sometimes if there is physical attraction there, and you're both in moments of vulnerability, of course bonds are formed and things like that. So I certainly wouldn't rule it out. But I guess we'll see.
So it's rare to see a show that, is about time travel but still manages to address prejudice throughout history. Like a lot of shows don't really even bother. But as the white guy, like you don't really have to face that as much as, Rufus or Lucy do. Does it still affect your character, and does it affect you as an actor to kind of see these scenes play out?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of can't help but to, I think that all three characters are affected in the way that, you're right, it's obvious, there are obvious reasons why it's not as hard for Wyatt, but there are reasons why it's dangerous for Wyatt too. In the pilot we saw just the language in and of itself could get you killed. You're trying to pose as someone you're not, and you speak in a different way, they're going to know, and your gun's to your head all of a sudden. So there's those challenges just, in a different time period. But, I mean, as an actor, yeah, absolutely. We've not filmed any scenes yet that have, really had to directly do with slavery or anything like that, which could be coming. That's going to be tough. But we shot a World War II episode where we are in the massive theater with 40-foot Nazi Germany swastika banners hanging, and obviously we all know what that stands for, and so that's hard to see, and it's so surreal. It's so surreal walking into a room full of like Nazi soldiers and all the Hitler stuff. It's really it's scary. It really is scary. So you kind of can't help but to be affected just as a person walking on a set like that. Yeah, but I'm constantly saying to myself, I don't know how these people, how did they live back then? Like, how did they fight in these costumes? How did they fight in these boots that were not built for human feet? I just came off of the 1754 episode, and my shoes, I'm pretty sure, were made specifically for me. And there's no left and right. They're just interchangeable, unisex shoes, unifoot shoes. And, they're not comfortable, and I don't know how people ran. I just don't know how people survive in these time periods. So that is a challenge. But it gives me a new appreciation for what these people did and what they went through. And, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah. I think it carries through a lot of the shoot and ask questions later that they have in the pilot where Wyatt was willing to just go for the gun first.
Yeah, I think that's that's a little bit more of Wyatt's personality, and again to go back to the stresses that the team endures with each other and their perspectives on how it should be treated. How to preserve history, don't preserve history. That's at this moment, Wyatt's definitely the one that says, screw it. If we can save a life, why wouldn't we save a life? But we see how the ripple effect of that. But
so he would just as soon take Flynn out as any other solution.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, again, he's very mission oriented. He stays mission oriented. I feel like the only thing that really makes him deviate from that is the thought of his wife.
Surprised that didn't come up in the psych profile.
Yeah.
Sakina Jaffrey was playing the team.
I'm just thinking. I just sort of lied to you because there's another episode where there are some things that pull at him. So I don't want to generalize him too much as he's a soldier and only a soldier, because he's really not. There's a lot more going on there. I don't want to give anything away. I'm trying to figure out how do I these my answers.
Right.
But yeah, we see it all. We see it play out.
Are you still shooting?
Yeah, we are shooting the 8th episode right now. We
Probably until Christmas.
Yeah, until Christmas, unless we get a backline pickup, then we'll stay probably keep shooting until April. But yeah, right now we're shooting the moon landing. Apollo 11 stuff, and it was really nice to just wear just a suit, just like normal shoes and a suit with a tie. And I was like, this feels so great, because as much as I love getting dressed up in the costumes, by like once you're getting like dirt put on you during makeup every morning, and you're wearing 6 layers of like leathers and trench jackets and like heavy weapons on you, it gets old. So I was like, I felt so normal in a suit.
What's the typical length for filming an episode?
I think we're doing 8 shoot days, but then we'll end up, it's such a large scale that we end up missing a couple scenes here and there that we then go back and do pickup days on. Those are the crazy days to shoot, when we're already in a new episode, but then the next scene we have to like shift gears and go back to 1865 to do like lifeboat scenes, 1865. So we're dressing in like 3 different eras in one day. Those are the crazy days on set, which at the end of the day we're just like, passed out tired, because we're running around to different sets. We're doing. I just started yesterday, Thursday was my first day on the Apollo 11 stuff.
So time travel is a really popular theme for TV, especially this year. You've got your show, you've got Frequency, Legends of Tomorrow. Why do you think it's become so popular so recently?
I don't know. I mean, I think things just in general in life sometimes happen in waves. That's the saying, when it rains it pours. But I don't know. I mean, I think time travel's never gone away. It's always been there. The idea of time travel is sort of as interesting as the idea of flying. I don't think it goes away. I don't know why 3 or 4 pilots came out this year with time travel, all of which seem to get picked up. But I haven't seen the other shows or even read the scripts, but from what I understand, we are the only show that is actually time traveling week to week, going on new adventures in different time periods. I think one of the other ones, I think they time travel at first, but they stay in the present or stay in the past.
There's a bunch of them.
Either way, they're not as good.